Hello, everyone. We have a guy here on the set, um, Junior, and I'll just leave it as Junior, and you'll see Junior to who. Um, Extraordinary. I'll leave it at that too. Without further ado, I'll have to ask him to introduce himself and find out his background and how he came into this type of entertainment field.
The entertainment factor, I had to give them the whole thing then. So
Yes.
I am your extraordinary steel panis. E equals MC squared because I'm twice the MC. Earl La Pierre Jr.
Yes, see, ladies and gentlemen, we have it cork right now. Stay tuned. So when you get into this entertainment field, was it strictly in the pan, or did you like other things? Because I'll leave you to reveal that, because I'm gonna catch you with certain things.
Right, well, that is a kind of a weird kind of question for me, because where did I start in the entertainment or pan? It varies because it's different for both. I started pan very late. I wish I started earlier. You know, everybody thinks that I was just born with this pan here and I just started to play it. In fact, I never liked pan. I never liked pan. You know what I mean? My father brought it to Canada back in the 60s, and obviously it was in the house, you know. My mother and father separated when I was very young, so I don't even recall him playing it like that until I got a lot older. And then it was more, go on the band, sit down here, I go and play mass, don't move. So all them tunnel days and all them thing, I was just sitting down in the rhythm rack waiting for mommy to come back, and it was just, you know, in my head. So it's been in the blood, but I didn't start until I was about 15 years to play pan. Now, the other things that you're talking about in entertainment.
Yeah, because I know you're on the DJ thing and everything else. So
Yeah.
that was really a niche.
Well, you know what? I tell people I am a professional panist. That's how I make my living, right? But I MC. We came up, well, I shouldn't say even we. I was invited into the kingdom, which is the KOS, Kingdom of Soca, with Dr. J. It was the brainchild of Dr. J and my partner, Wayne Donowa. And they invited me in because, you know, just had that kind of a knack. Just very organized. Everybody likes Earl, you know, that kind of way. So I became the manager and the voice, the MC for the crew. And this is back in 96, I think it was. I think it's 96 is when we first established KOS. So they brought me in as the manager and the MC. And it was only by fluke that I picked up the mic. Before KOS even started, we had something called Jet Promotions. I don't know if it was, I want to say Jet Promotion started before KOS, but I can't recall. It may have started around the same time or a little bit before. I want to say probably even before. Yeah, I think it was before Jason, which is Dr. J, Earl, and Thane, my partner Thane, who's a big soccer man to himself. We started a promotion called Jet Promotions. So it was a good while we doing this thing, man. You know, we've been doing it from the early 90s, I want to say. It's then I started to MC. Thane was the first person to pick up the mic, and all he was saying was flavor, flavor, and Jay watch him and say, nah, that's not it. And then with this voice that I have, you know, which I would say I probably got from my father because he has a very deep voice as well, it just sounded so good on the mic. So Jay was like, yeah, man, that is a day. And we just started from there, you know.
So within that likeness and finding yourself and getting that niche, what about the Blocko and stuff that is after? Or you were still too young and...
Well, as you know, Blocko started from since the early 70s, 80s, probably in the 80s, early 80s. I don't know the exact
I want to
dates.
know you get your foot wet in that. Yeah, or
well, of course, I had to go Blocko. You know what I mean? That was our, honestly, 44 St. George, the picture that you showed there brings back so much memories. You know what I mean? It's not what it looks like now. People probably won't understand it if they just go there and see it because there's been so much development. But that was our playground. Any kid that passed through there loved it because we had open space to run. We had place to adventure. We used to go to Becca's, you know, walk down to Becca's by College Day, you know what I mean? So we had so many adventures, and Blockos was just a time where all families got together. So I think that's how even myself and Jay connected, was at a Blocko. because my dad and Mike Rustin were friends. You know, they played pan and they did music together. Mike was a drummer and thing. So I think that's how we first connected, was at a Blocko, at 44 St. George, Afropan Blocko. Uncle Mike brought his son and his daughter down, and obviously, hey, that's your uncle, that's Uncle Earl, that's Junior, you know, that kind of thing. So it just became, hey, hi. And then we would see each other more frequently because Jay got a little bit more popular and was starting to DJ more big people events. And me and Teen would always go to like an Ellsworth James event where we was the two youngest people there. We were probably about 14, 15, go into Ellis Banquet Hall, go into the convention center and having a great time partying and whining. We was the young boys in the party, you know, there was nobody younger than us.
And getting your ideas of how it is done, fomenting your ideas of taking it to your level too?
Well, you know what? I would say yes or no, because we went there because we just loved the music. You know what I mean? Our parents played soca all the time in the house. We grew up listening to that. I grew up on Kitchener, Sparrow, and you know, Black Stalin, the Shadow. That was my favorite artist of all time because I never used to party and dance. I just used to bounce. You know what I mean? That was my thing. I was a shadow bouncer. You know what I mean? Play a shadow and I bounce in, you know? So we just love the music. So I would say yes, it probably formulated and we decided that we wanted to take it to a younger demographic, and that's where Jay came in. You know what I mean? Jay really is the mastermind behind pulling soca to the level that it is here in Canada. You know what I mean? And all hats go off to Dr. J, the Soca Prince, for that. And it's still going strong here in Canada. In fact, I have a recording of Bungie Garlin from a boat ride in Trinidad saying that when soca lock off here in Trinidad, Trinidad go lose soca to Toronto because Toronto is the new mecca of soca. They don't lock off soca. It's 365 days of the year they display soca in Toronto, Canada. He say, I could say so, Bungie Garland, because of these fellas here, Dr. J and Eman. I have that video.
No, taking what Bungie said. I know you travel when you go to Miami and stuff. You still have that opinion. You still feel strongly that Toronto is the next best.
Toronto is on the map for soca because of the way that we love soca fets, and I would say yes, bigger than New York, bigger than Miami, because like he said, every weekend there is a soca fet here. When you go to New York and Miami and all these places, yes, they play soca, but you know what? They more predominantly like their hip hop and their R&B and the this and that. We're not saying that we don't play that here, but 95% of the time when we have a soca fet is a soca fet. You understand? We're not mixing it with no R&B and thing. That's why Jay came up with a concept, soca or die. If you don't like soca, this is not the party for you. You know what I mean?
How you evolve now in terms of, because we have a lot to talk about. We have the family day, we have you coming, we have you going solo, we have what within this whole evolution of you as an individual entertainer, what that, I mean, you're still with Kingdom, I understand that, but you're also solo now. So how did that evolve? How did this whole brainstorming, how that take place?
The whole brainstorming, like I said, Dr. J was the mastermind behind it. And obviously with us going to these events and seeing things, we wanted to, you know, put our own spin on things. So we started to rent out venues. We had something called First Fridays, which was a soca event at El Dorado, which is in the West End. You know, we used to do things at Cutty's Hideaway. These are the predominantly clubs that our parents would go to and that sort of thing. For example,
so you actually catering for everybody, and then when you get the following, it seemed like you niche to the younger crowd then. So you actually, okay.
Of course. So our mothers, our parents would be coming to the parties, and you know, aunts with their kids, and then all of a sudden it was like, we too old for this. Well, they take over we things. So then that's how the young people got involved. So we started to do annual events that people would start to like. So we had like Pretty Dolly, which is all the girls come in the party free. The only line with the KOS, no men allowed until midnight. We give the girls flowers, chocolate and thing. And guys know once it's a soca party, you go have girls. So fellas would come. So now you have the reggae people coming, the hip hop people coming, because Girls' Day, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We had Whiteout. I heard Ian talk about that. Yes, we started that white party before Ian. We did. And I commend him for remembering and then mentioning that. We did Whiteout at El Dorado as well. You know, that was where it started in those small little clubs, and it grew into a party that was big enough to hold inside the cool houses and the rebels, 25, 3,000 people inside there. It started from a little club of 200 people, if that, to 2,000, 3,000 people. Juve, we did Juve at El Dorado as well. That's the Caravana Friday. We brought Afropan up there, a small section. We started at Juve. We were the first people to actually do a party in the street off of King Street. The band was set up outside. As soon as the party done, we had the band going around the block. And then one day, somebody said, Captain, let me go down strong to CNE. I said, boy, look, the police station right there. He said, don't worry, man. We going. Sun coming up, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I said, all right. We take the band and we start to go down strong. All of a sudden, I see a police car come. He pull over and he started direct we. He started direct we across the bridge. Then he said, listen, as soon as you get there, everything had to stop. People have to go and disembark. I said, no problem, officer. And he guided us down the road at Juve, steel pan only, jamming down the road.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like the Juve, that's just one of them things, that's the Juve, that's how the whole Juve developed.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now you're talking about, we have a mixture where you're talking about where they seem like the Kingdom and you and Dr. J. But what I'm still trying to figure out now, and I'm still waiting, as I say, we have a lot to cover, is that within that, you still found something to, you still have time on your hands to try to be solo.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the pan now. Because if you go back to the beginning where the pan wasn't the real thing.
It wasn't the real thing.
And you really sound like you're shooting for what you're talking about there. Yeah, I hear on the mic and stuff, you really have a kind of natural for that, right? Now, for some reason, maybe you're bursting with talent. For some reason, you branch off with the pan.
Yeah, but we always brought the pan in the party, that's one thing with KOS. We always was pushing the culture, whether it was pan, whether it was mass, whether it was this and that, we always had that pan there. We did our album, SWAT, Steel Pan with a Tassa, and we had the pot and pan. That was on that album, done at Etienne Catel's studio with Eddie and Ian Wilshire. We did it there. Pan was always there. So going back to when I went solo or when I started to do more events, so I used to work at Bell Canada. No, sorry, Rogers Communication, down there on College Street. And the year before, I asked my boss, can I take a 6 weeks leave? Because I know Caravana coming. I want to be able to do all my gigs with ease. People calling during the day for me to come and do my one-man solo thing. Like Earl said, he showed us how to do this. We used to use tape back in the day. My boss said, no, you can't have that time off. I said, but why? Too many people are off. I said, well, technically, we're allowed to have 3 people off. You have 2 people on the board. One is on maternity, so she doesn't even count. So it's technically just 1. She said, no. I said, okay. I said, well, you know what? Effective immediately, I resign. And I'm not saying that I was the best seller or anything there at Rogers, but I was a very good employee, never late, never sick. That's one thing with me. When I work in, right? I resigned on the spot. I sent a message to the floor and said, I just got parole out of this place. Good luck. Everybody started to message me to find out what went on. But that was about 20 plus years ago. And since that day, I never worked another day. My 3 eldest kids have gone through university, college. My last one, 4 kids, 3 girls, 1 boy. My last one now, she's in grade 10. She's already told me she wants to go to Guelph and she wants to know if I could handle her dormitory fees. I was like, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's when I just went full out pan man, full out entertainer, whether it was promotions with Jay, whether it was MCing, I had to go hard. And this is what I was doing for the last 20 plus years. It's only now, since the COVID, things slowed down again. I went into the next field. So now I am the general manager at Island Mix Oshawa. That's the 3rd location that Island Mix opened. So I'm the general manager there. So that's a new thing that I'm doing now because
how long you doing the general manager job?
Since January of this year. We opened up January 2021 in COVID, and the location is doing great. Now with the COVID passport, it's a little more quiet because people are not out with this passport thing. It's not dining in, but takeout and Uber, Skip, and DoorDash is still busy, but they're doing well. In fact, they're opening up a 4th location in Kitchener, so I commend them. And because of Earle Mix, I was playing Pan there every Friday for 16 years now. I think that is a record when it comes to Pan Man. Other than Robert Greenwich, who I know has a regular gig with Jimmy Buffett, I've been playing steel pan every Friday at Earle Mix Pickering since the inception. They've been open 16 years now. That was a gig that I'm so proud of because in the summertime when I couldn't play, I would have a panist there. My brother from Trinidad, Noel, would come up and play that gig if I couldn't play. My brother Jimmy, any panist that I sure that will go to perform properly, I've given them that job to do for the summer so they would have some cash in their pockets. And now that we have 3 locations, we have 3 panists at each location performing. And whenever they can't play, they call me, I go and fill in or I put in the next panist. So that's one thing that I would commend Earle Mix for having that, urge to have a steel pan there because it's island mix, what better way to have, people entertained by having some pan there.
Yeah.
And also having the faith in me to actually run their location. I've been there since January. The owners barely come there because they know it's in good hands. They have been so good to me. They have been so good to my children. I consider them my brothers. You know what I mean? And I thank them for, having that faith in me to run one of their stores.
Talking about having the faith, I want to make sure that the young people, based on what you did, which I think is the ideal way we would like all the young people to be successful with. When you make that decision with the job, because I can't let that just flow like that, because I don't want young people to feel it's an easy deal.
No, it's not.
Did you actually think about doing what you did, or just being put in a uncomfortable situation with your plans afoot in terms of the caravan and the 6 weeks? Because I want to make sure the young people understand this thing still takes a certain amount of dedication and thinking, and it wasn't just a hasty decision, because obviously you're showing your success now. So I want to make sure the young people don't take it for granted.
Well, you're absolutely right. At that moment, when I was put in that position, I felt hurt because I know the manager was just doing that on spite. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I felt I was in just right to take my time off without them having no problems, but she didn't want to give it to me. And at that point in time in my life, I was like, you know what? I feel like I could do this. I believe in this. I believe in myself. And you know what? Even if I last these 6 weeks and then there's no gigs after that, I'm sure I can find a next job, but I believe in this. And like I said, I didn't even turn back. Didn't turn back. I called my mother before I did it. I said, Mom, I'm about to quit this job. I just letting you know. And I wasn't living with her at the time. She was like, you sure? What about your kids? I said, Mom, you know what? I will make this work. And like I said, I've been making it work for the last 20 so many years. I'm proud to say none of my kids are starving. They have never once asked me for something and I've not given them. And those are my angels, you know what I mean? That's my heartbeat. Everybody knows how much I love my kids. So many people know my kids and they don't even understand how they know, but they see how much I post my kids. That's one thing I do. I love my children and I will do anything for them.
Yeah, I didn't even know you had so many kids and stuff. So that's a lesson. So I got the young people here, that part.
I'm a grandfather now,
All right.
My daughter just gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Yeah, I'm a grandfather, not even 2 months yet. So that's another great feeling for me.
Congrats.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, going on a little ball side now, because I say you have plenty tentacles. For some reason, and as a matter of fact, your dad asked me in his thing, but it didn't come out because we had 2 takes on it, and that one I didn't have the video for. You wanted to know how you and I got close. Right? And okay. I said, well, you know what? You wasn't wrong at the time. So I want to know if you recollect were you the captain then? Because when I start, Afropan was coming to the family there at Birchmount. And then for some reason, you know, I had to deal with Eman. And I think I forgot the lady name. But you recall coming to Birchmount because, you know, and then how it evolved, and that's how I knew you went solo, because at one time you guys got so busy that you say, you know what, I'll come and do it for you.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember all the time. Yeah, man. We used to come and set up right there behind the field posts and jam down the place. You know what I mean? Birchmount, yeah, for sure, of course. And I was the captain there. I don't even remember how long I've been captain of Afropan. In fact, I don't recall even if I accepted the fact that I should be captain. I just know it was just something that the outgoing captain was not going to be doing it anymore, and it just fell in my hands, I guess, as being Earl Jr., living here. My dad wasn't living here. I just took up the mantle. And yeah, we had the stage side come and perform a couple of years. Well, and then another year you call and it was just next to impossible. I think we couldn't.
Yeah, because like, you know what? Kingdom of Soca, everything was busy.
Yeah, no, it was I remember the time when I came and performed right on the field there, right in front of the bleachers and thing.
Yeah.
I said, don't worry, man. I will come. And he was like, you by yourself? I was like, wow, you don't think I could do it? And I come and I started to jam some tune and until the place break down. And I did it another time. So yeah, I recall those times. Those are good times, man.
Yeah.
And those kind of family events I love doing. Those are the kind of things that I look forward to. Annual kind of vibes like that. Once I am able to be there, I'd love to be there. You know, and I know the band enjoyed it as well. You know, I know the band enjoyed it.
Yeah, because because really and truly, I mean, with no slight to the other bands or whatever, Afropan really was the roots as far as I am concerned. And you know, you guys were kind of family oriented. You came on Flemo, seeing that Average was part of Flemington. Did you have any kind of interaction or awareness with Flemington?
I think I'm a historian, I guess, because you and Ian were talking about somebody by the name of Stanley King was his name. May he rest in peace. He passed about 10 years ago. That's my sister's father. So I know him and Hagaman and Trinidad Club and them kind of things. Now, my days of Flemo, growing up in Thorncliffe Park, that's where I was born, in Thorncliffe Park. I lived in Flemington Park. I also used to go to Irie tournaments with my uncle. You know who's my next uncle? Cecil Clark. You know who's that? Muggs. Yeah. Muggs used to carry me there all the time. Jody and Quincy used to play soccer. My next uncle, Noel Peters, his two sons, Colin and Kwasi, used to play soccer. I was in soccer all the time. I never liked soccer, but I was always there because it had lime. You see? So I know about Irie tournaments like crazy. If it's not Muggs, it was Uncle Noel with Colin and Kwasi. I've been in the soccer thing for years, whether it's with Afropan or just there.
So what you thought of the atmosphere at Flemo?
Man, I used to love going there because why? While they busy doing that, I roam in, I go on McDonald's, I all over the place, I live in, I, get into things, listening to music, the DJ playing, and I was all over the place. My aunt used to live across the street. I used to go and visit her because I was young and I always used to pay attention to where I was going. So I was young and I just knew I see the building, I see my aunt living there. I walked to that building. She was shocked. What are you doing here? How you get here? I was like, I was over by Flemington Park. You know how to get back there? Yes, auntie, I know how to get back there. I used to tell people always pay attention to where you're going. Get a landmark, that's something. So Flemington Park has always been good to me. I used to live in Flemington Park, 45 Grenoble Drive to be exact, apartment 208. And I was born in Thorncliffe Park, which was a stone throw away. So yeah, man.
That's right. That's right. Oh gosh. So you're the old roots. You're a real roots man.
Yeah, no doubt. And I have a lot of friends who are in the soccer thing. Renee Martin, the list goes on, man. Like soccer has always been, like I said, I was never a footballer. I don't mind the sport. I always used to be around it, and I know about it, man.
What about this talent that you have there? I know at one time it seemed like Dr. J was, he seemed like he had a little link with Marshall at one time. I don't know. Maybe you could elaborate. I know he's supposed to come on later on, but we'll leave that for him. But seeing that you were the manager, were you part of the management crew in Trinidad too? Do you go, or is just the doctor used to go?
No, me and Jay have been going to Trinidad for years, touching big stages. Um, was it Coffee Boy stage and Brass Festival stage? These big events that are no longer around. We've been doing that for years. You know, we got to know all of the artists, from the Marshalls to the Bungees to even the older ones, because Jay started to do Big People Fair, the Roy Keeps. Like, we have a personal friendship with most of these artists. I consider Destra to be my sister. I just go by her house. We just go all over her daughter. I love her to death. Like, we have personal friendships with a lot of the artists. Marshall, from coming to Toronto so many times, we grew close together by going and picking him up and taking him to some places. In fact, one year, I'll never forget this, going to Trinidad, I used to play with Phase 2. And Marshall came up. I said, yeah, come in Trinidad. He said, where you live? I say, I live in Barval. I say, you know where Cape Rock Hotel is? Of course. I said, 2 houses, number 20, the White House. I know the house. I said, all right. He said, I will come and pick you up and go to a party. I said, okay, if you say so. He called, you reach Trini? I say, yeah, in Trini. All right, this week I go pass and pick you up. I say, all right. So I telling Granny all this story. She said, what, Marshall coming again? I say, yeah, okay. That day I go on pan practice. I not expecting Marshall Montano to come and pick up nobody. You know who come to my house? Bring doorbell. Went upstairs online with Granny, all kind of thing. Marshall Montano. When I reach home, she's like, you fool, Marshall, come here. I said, Granny, stop lying. She said, no, serious. He came to pick you up. He come upstairs, he lied me, he kissed me, he hugged me. He's a really nice boy. So for the month, and Marshall don't pass me nowhere. And he just call me by my first name. You know what I mean? So that is a true friend. Another true friend like that would be he used to go by Maximus Dan. MX Prime. He's a next brother. Mr. Edgel, he don't call me by Eman. He just call me by my first name. You know what I mean? Very good people. Bungie Garland, same way. They don't pass me nowhere. So I'm so honored to have that relationship with a lot of these artists because of the Kingdom of Soca and because of what we used to do. We used to treat them nice. Yeah. We would personally go and pick them up in the airport, make sure that they're good. You know what I mean? A year Bungie and Fian came with their little baby at the time. And obviously I had the kids, so I had a car seat that they could have used. They used my car seat to, you know, for their daughter, you know what I mean? So yeah, personal relationships and friendships with all of them artists.
So would you say it developed from here when they came here, or it developed
from here, definitely from here.
What definitely. About the New York or any part of the Caribbean and New York? Well, we could do New York, Miami. You guys how are you guys established?
The Soca Prince is established worldwide, right? KOS was established worldwide as well. So we've done the New York sector. We are good friends with a lot of the DJs and people down there. Miami, we regular down there, you know what I mean? Jay's doing events in Miami now. You know, it's not as busy as it was at one point in time, because if you really look at it, there's a lot of Soca DJs and entertainment out there now, right? So homegrown, they know if they come in here, they have to go through Dr. J first. You know what I mean? If they really want to get any big events and that sort of thing, he still owns Toronto like that. We are recognized in all of them places and we get respect for what we have done here in Toronto, Canada.
So when you look at the whole big picture now, you know, hey, by the way, seeing that you're going in big circles, what about people like Drake and all of them? I mean, like, how you guys break that circle yet or no?
You want me to show you? I have a picture. If I turn the camera, is me, Dr. J, Drake, and Dirty Des right here, sitting down right in front of me.
All right, okay. Yeah, because I always tell myself you guys at that level, because you guys were very innovative. So it's like you're just captivating. It's like you're on the move and you're just bringing in everything. You know, when somebody passes, you know, when a band passes, it starts with 10 people and it just keep picking up as it go through the block. To me, that's the image I have of you guys. And what was nice is that you guys knew roots, and that is the whole essence of this. You know, you guys knew roots, so it was easy for the older ones to stay with you and could relate to you, and the younger ones to take to you.
And the thing is, we never stirred from that, because Dr. J was the Soca Prince. You know what I mean? He started in R&B and hip hop, and he was a different DJ. And when We started to fly that soca flag. We didn't steer from that. If we were coming to play soca and it was a reggae place, we come in and play soca. You know what I mean? There are other people who would be like, oh gosh, nah. Man, and he would start the way he would always start. Well, however, it didn't matter. If you had a jam of Sugar Boom Boom and you don't know Sugar Boom Boom, you learn Sugar Boom Boom. You know what I mean?
Well,
and like the story with Drake, Drake came to our party at Cool House, the Whiteout party. Drake's manager and DJ is Future the Prince. We grew up with Future the Prince. He used to work in Bad Lad Records, so we know him from small, you know what I mean? And he don't pass us nowhere either. So he was the connect with Drake. Drake, obviously, when it came to reggae, soca, hip hop, the three big peoples was in hip hop was starting from scratch. In reggae was King Turbo. In soca, Dr. J. Once you had them three at your party, the party round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys really, really reached a certain level. Where, okay, you're doing this thing right now. Is there anything that you think you would want to do, or you're just concentrating on the kids, or you still, because it looked like you have endless talent, you know?
Anything I want to do?
Don't tell me movie production, you know.
No. You know what? I am so humble. I am a very humble person. I'm not a kind of person to push myself per se. You know what I mean? Like, I know my capabilities. I know what my worth is, but I'm always willing to push somebody else in front of me. You know what I mean? Like, that's just me. It's always been that way. I find self-praise is no praise. If somebody wants to honor me and say things about me, I appreciate it, but I'm very humble. I don't take it good. You know, I am very shy. People don't believe that. Like, I am a very shy person. I can't watch people in the face, and if I don't know you, I don't talk. You know what I mean? When I tell people I'm shy, they don't believe me because they
but
see
how
me.
that might think, so that might think is a different you.
Yeah, it's an alter ego.
And it's also strengthening what you just said there, because it's really kind of bigging up someone else or a song or something else. It's away from you. It's not about you.
Honestly, it's an alter ego. It's a persona that I put on. Eman is somebody who I wish I could really be. You know, like, Eman's not afraid of anything. Once Eman gets into he's go on, do it. You know what I mean? Me, yeah. I'm more, for example, if I have to perform, especially Pan, if I am, and I'm performing for a large crowd, if I don't go on there shaking and scared and nervous, I'm going to play the most tata in the world. I have to be scared, literally shaking. If I go on there with too much confidence, I play the most crap.
Most artists say that, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. If I feel too confident, it's going to be the worst performance ever. You know what I mean? So I think that's just me. That's just me. You know, I'm very humble.
So, in other words, you are comfortable where you are now.
I'm comfortable.
Your children getting your grandfather now, your children getting bigger. So you just intend to coast now. Is that it?
Well, you know what? Coast maybe, but I'm still doing what I have to do. You know what I mean? I still want to stay relevant. I still want, like I tell them youths, you can't hold nothing over me, you know. You know what I mean? Like right now, I still, as you saw, I have a production thing over there. You know, I've been doing virtual events. I've been online. I've been doing all kind of things. You know what I mean? So, like, I like to stay relevant. We are still relevant in this scene. I've been telling people that I'm slowing down Eman's role as an MC in clubs and stuff, but I'm still getting hired by these young guys because there's no real MCs out there who could come to a dance and rock the mic and keep that crowd going to the way and the capabilities that they want. You know what I mean? So I'm still relevant out there, as much as I don't really like to be in some of the events. Yeah. I'm still going and I'm still doing what I have to do. But I'm a lot older now. So some of these events, when I hear somebody call me Uncle Earl, I'm like, oh gosh, you know, my time here, but so, you know what I mean? So Isla Mix came at a good time as well. This COVID has been a wake up for a lot of us because this was our bread and butter, you know what I mean? So for a lot of the entertainment factors stopped, you know what I mean? There was no more parties, there was no more gigs, there was no more nothing. So I was very fortunate to bounce up a lady, and I'd like to mention her name, Vanessa Wickham, who helped Afropan at one point get grants and that sort of thing. She asked me, Earl, are you a registered business? And I looked at her and I said, for what? You know, I get cash, so I don't need to be here. She goes, but you know what? You should still register because I'm sure there's organizations who pay you by check and this and that and rate it. And she got me to register my business, Extraordinary Steel Panis, is a registered business. And I thank her to this day, especially in this COVID. If it wasn't for her, I would not have been receiving CERB or anything like that. I don't know how I would have lived for the last 19 months. And as I said, ILMX came at a good time as well. You know what I mean? So I thank both of them for that. But honestly, as much as these young guys out there want to get in this field and want to, you know, start making this money and this cash, they have to do things the right way. And I constantly showing them and telling them, listen, it doesn't take much to register yourself as a business just to secure yourself. You know, you may not have paid. I was scared to go and do my taxes. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing it so many years. Now I'm up to date. Now I'm getting GST. I'm getting this. I'm getting that. You know, it's those things that I wasn't getting. I'm getting, and I thank the Lord for that, because I had a lot of good people in my life, and I try to treat everybody fairly. I try to treat everybody with respect. You know what I mean? And I know anytime Earl calls somebody, they would always answer, and they would never tell me no, because I would never tell them. You know what I mean? And that's how it is.
Yeah. Well, you listen to you on the mic, it's a persona, as you say, you know. And when you were talking about, you know, the young people want you as a MC and stuff, you see experience, you probably, which I feel is happening to you, probably going into situations now where you could assess everything in your business. You know, and they might not be, because they have a lot of things lingering, and I feel that's and you need to expose yourself to them, and you know, try to figure that out for them, because you probably have the kind of calm knowing the situation very early.
Well, to be honest, I've been mentoring quite a few DJs, younger DJs. As I said, I was manager of KOS, which is phenomenal for all kind of things, right? But we had some younger DJs who just coming up who asked me if I would manage them. I was like, well, you know, back in the day when we needed management, for example, Jay didn't want to go and deal with a promoter. I would deal with him. Sign contract, get 50% deposit, get the balance, them kind of things. Now a lot of these events, you doing an event, we partners, so you didn't need me to be that middleman. If anything you needed me to do in between, I don't mind doing it. So I do still manage, and I still kind of mentor some of the DJs, the younger DJs in Toronto right now. Right now I have about 4 or 5 of them that I'm mentoring, and they're doing good, up and coming. A couple of them are real up and coming. They're going to do some good things in the next couple of years. All I can tell them is just stay humble. You know what I mean? Like, I have a lot of knowledge in this industry, being in it from the pan side to the DJ side to the promotion side to the, you know, just going to the fat side. You know what I mean? There's certain things that I want, you know what I mean? And knowing what a patron wants and how to treat them, how to talk to them, even dealing with your security. That's the first person that you see. If that security is vexed and angry and treating your patrons bad, he had to go, because he's going to cause a problem outside that's going to come inside. You know what I mean? So all these things you have to know, you know what I mean? And we have learned this over the amount of years that we've been doing this, built so many good connections and friendships and relationships with so many people. So, you know, it's just a blessing. It's a blessing. So whatever I can pass on, I will definitely pass on to them.
All right. Mr. La Pierre Jr., Eman, extraordinary steel panist. I don't know, the list goes on and on, and I'm too old to remember all them things. This guy have plenty names, you know, and it's a tribute to him in all his different abilities and capabilities. So I want to thank you for giving me the information, the time. I know you're a busy man. You see, we had to bounce a couple of times, right?
Yeah, man.
Because getting time from you, I really is appreciated, because it shows that, you know, sometimes people are not too big, they're humble enough to try to add something to the program, because I really would like to get some of the younger sector, and that's why I go to you and Jay and stuff. We need to do that. We're doing the history, yes, but it can't really stay there. You know,
well, you know what? I commend you as well, because I started to get to watch a couple of the episodes and got more knowledge as well. There's so much history out there that people need to hear about, you know what I mean? Like, I love sitting down with those elders like Bad Lads. Bad Lads like a historian. I mean, Bad Lad could tell you who did the first mix and who did this and you and this one, Winston and that. When I sit down with Bad Lad, I just being, you know what I mean? Dave Gibbs, like I know all of these people, like all of these guys I've looked up to for years. So you know what I mean? So I commend them for what they have done for us. I'm glad that we were able to take it from them and run with it in a way that they still could look at us and say that, yeah, well, they did a good job. I just hope that when we decide that we need to pass on that baton to them, that they still love it as much as we love Soca. You know what I mean? Soca or die. That's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, people can't see nothing other than good things about the things that we have done. And anytime we could not produce something, we were utmost honest with them. We did whatever refunds we had to do. If an event couldn't happen, we made sure and put out the refunds. Nobody could say that we owe them or Jay owe them or I owe them. Like, we don't play that. You know what I mean? One thing I always said, I don't like to play with people money. Yeah, you understand? So if we could not produce something, we put it out enough. We canceled something, we gave you back your refund, go back to your ticket outlets and get it. So these are the things that we took from the older heads that, you know, that, okay, well, this person has a reputation of doing this, we can't do that. You know what I mean? Don't play with people.
Yeah, just take the good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a saying at one point called "In Jay We Trust." You know what I mean? And that you can't take that lightly. You know what I mean? You cannot say something like that and then go out and thief somebody's money. You know what I mean? Like, it's not us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We hold our credibility, our reputation is something that we hold strong. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. That's what it is. So,
and it's nice to hear it coming from younger guys, because as I say, being in the town that long and knowing the entertainment scene and knowing the people that have been around, it's nice to hear that coming from you, because that's the only thing, whether it be Carbon or whatever, and I really detest that.
Me too, because I am disappointed. I'm disappointed that that same organization, Caravana, has nothing to show. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that we all grew up on. This is something that we built. Like my father said, he was one of the first steel bands and that sort of thing. There was a year where they took mass up to Markham Fairgrounds. It was only Pan. I remember all of those things. But it's sad to know that we've got to this level and we have nothing to show. We don't have a building. We don't have a recreation center, a community center. In fact, it hurts me to call this Toronto Carnival. It's not a carnival. Been to carnival
I am not changing to the Caravana
because anybody I know from anywhere in the world, they still call it Caravana because that made the most sense.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the things that you've done. Roy Keep, you know what I mean? That's another gentleman. We used to hire Roy Keep all the time to do our events at Wildwater Kingdom. We used to bring, after a whiteout, we went to whiteout till it's bright out. The party finished at 8 o'clock in the morning. Literally, it got bright outside. That was the concept. White out until it's bright out. We had bacon saltfish for everybody. We had level bacon saltfish. So we're like, what are we going to do with all this? We went by you remember they used to stay up at, what was the university up in
Toronto? Yeah, by Military Trail.
Right. We went up there that hour the morning. We sat up, pong down all of the doors, pong, and they sleeping. You know, we wake up every man Jack. We wake up every man Jack, Juice, Sly, Roy. We say, hey, wake up. We bring some breakfast for you. So when they see the food, they was happy. But now line starts. So now we getting tired because we parties. And I have a gig the next day. This is the last story I could tell you. Yeah. I have a gig to play the next day. Now I'm watching the time. I'm supposed to play at 2 o'clock. I see 10 o'clock. I see 10:30. I say, okay, fellas, I had to go. Juice man say, where you going? You mad? You wake me up. You ain't going nowhere. I say, no, Juice, I have a gig to do. No, you ain't going. I sit down there with my foot up. That man take off my 2 shoes. Boy, they take off my shoes and put it in the oven. When they wasn't looking, I run in the oven and I get my shoes and I run out barefoot and I run to my car to go to this car. I can't be late for no gig. You know what I mean? That's just me.
Yeah.
But man, I have so many pleasant memories of all of these artists. I salute them. So seeing the people that you've had on this, it makes me feel nice to know that we have had relationships with all of these people and that sort of thing. And I'm glad that when they mention us, they still, have good things to say about us. It's always nice to hear.
All right. So you take care and stay safe.
You as well.